Well, it's windy again. Semi-warm-ish, but windy again. It always seems to be windy when it's semi-nice, which in return makes it not nice. Anyway, we're getting a little bit of a late start today, and that's mainly because the boards that we did cut for the hay wagon, I managed to get them, you know, some ripped on the table saw, as well as get our lengths and stuff and our ends squared off. So we got all those. We got all those down here. And so we got our 14 footers and we managed to mill, you know, I shouldn't say mill, but we squared off. We got a 2x6, I believe, bunch of 2x4s, 3.5s or whatever. You know, we're working with what we got. But what I did find this morning, and I didn't know this, and I wish I would have before I painted it, but taking some measurements, because I think what I'm gonna do to get our height for our runners come up here, and then our boards are gonna hit the tires. So I think what I need to do is I'm gonna put a 2x4 across this whole thing and bolt it down through those holes. So in taking this measurement to see how long of a 2x4 I needed, this measurement back here is wider than this one. And here I've come to realize there's 3 sets of holes, and same thing back there. So they actually have these brackets in, and I have no idea why, but they do. So these need loosened and moved to here, and I have no idea if those bolts are gonna come loose. I'm guessing they're gonna snap off, which is fine, we'll just replace them. The biggest thing I need to do at this point is obviously get some lights on in here, but I need to unload this lumber and get it in here and get it ready. I should get some sawhorses, which actually we have 2 right there, so I could steal those for the time being. And I need to try and move those brackets. We're gonna try and get these sprayed with our water sealer and get those ready. And then at that point, we need to get obviously some hardware to mount the runner boards, get those thrown on the wagon. And then we actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boards for our decking that we can put down right away too. So, and we can also get the tongue mounted back fast, which we probably should do that anyway so we can move it around, steer it. Judging by the look of that, I think we're just gonna replace them. It's pretty thin in a couple spots there. That's more where we gotta be. And I really wish I would have caught that beforehand, because now I have this ugly mess. So I'll have to throw some paint on that if we even have, and we do have some, so I'll throw some paint on that, but we gotta get different bolts because these are just, they came loose, but they're just no good. Got a quick little coat of paint on there. We're gonna have to spray it at least 1 or 2 more times. Now I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna try and get this wood treated and get it drying. We're really close to the threshold of the temperatures that they recommend on the can, but I'm just gonna do it. So we're using Thompson's water seal, and I figured the spray cans would be kind of easier, quicker than buying it by the gallon. I got one of the main runners sprayed and also one piece of the decking. I have another runner to do, and I think 3 other pieces of decking to do. So in the meantime, while that stuff's drying before I can move it in here, I think I'm gonna get the tongue thrown on, because once we have all the lumber and the boards and everything on here, I'm not really gonna have access to be able to, it's gonna be more of a pain. So then I can pull it around and everything. So I'll get the tongue reattached, get the tie rods and all that reattached. And then that should be, you know, we should be one step ahead. We also need to make sure we reattach the caps for the spindles. So because I'm an idiot and was trying to pound these down through, I really kind of messed up that hole from hitting it and pounding it. This one's a little better. So I can't get either one of these to start, and I don't think it's a huge deal because this should have new bolts in it anyway. So we're gonna have to retap that, but that's not gonna hold us up really right now. Tongue's mounted, and this is something we have not seen. Actual steering. This thing's come a long way. We still have a long ways to go, but we're making progress each and every time, which is a huge plus. All the bolts came out for the support brackets, which somehow, I have no idea how. So I need to get those. We gotta touch up that paint, and then we'll already have our holes. I thought I was gonna have to drill holes up here, but since I'm moving it, we already have a hole there. So this should work out. Everything's tight with the front end. We got the tie rods back on. Everything is good to go with that. And I think our boards, we can probably move those, put our next set on there. Managed to get everything sprayed, and it's obviously still wet. Some of them are starting to dry off. I'm running the furnace in here a little bit to try and bring it up, because it does say about 40 degrees, and I know outside it's, you know, clearly not. It's about right around there, a little more, maybe 45. But it is getting later, so it is dropping. So once these are dry, and we're flying through wherever I put it, we're flying through the cans. So I bought 6 cans originally. We're about through our 3rd, so this is gonna take a lot. But I need to get some hardware to obviously bolt fast the runners. I need to get some new hardware to bolt. I need to get some hardware to bolt the brackets fast, and we should be able to begin assembly. So this stuff should all be treated fairly well, dry. And obviously we needed to get some new hardware. These were shot. This is what mounted the brackets. And we also managed to pick up some hardware to mount our runners. So we got all kinds of new stuff in here. New bolts all over the place. So at this point, I do need to get the brackets moved first, because these ones are fine, but we got to move these the front ones here, and then get a 2x4 for the front, and then treat those so we can mount all that. I'm guessing now we're gonna end up getting the same measurement between this span and the back span, because we measured like 40 some inches over there and like 30 some here. So it was not a huge difference, but definitely enough to make a difference that you would have seen it. And I'm not sure why they were different in the front anyway. Got the caps. I had to completely retap them for the threads because the tops were messed up, but we got those back in for the spindles. We got these thrown in with shiny new bolts, and those are, you know, spanned. And we also got these are also stuff we cut with the chainsaw that weren't, you know, the best. So we're gonna be able to manage to use these for the pieces here that I would like to do. And basically these are gonna go in right here like that, bolt down through, and then the runners are gonna sit on top of them just so we can get a little bit more height so our boards aren't hitting the tires. Took a little bit of doing to get that, but managed to get that fastened and on there. And now we got to get the back one, and then we can fasten our runners. Finally, we're ready for our main beams. And I wouldn't have had to do that. These are taller than most wagons, I feel like, anyway. But I didn't have, you know, when we're cutting our lumber, you know, we're trying to get the most out of the tree. And, you know, 8 inches and over was really a stretch because we didn't have that much solid lumber. So I gotta flip these and figure out which side we want to do and get my measurements front to back and see kind of where we're overhanging. Probably gonna overhang more out the back, but I gotta take some measurements and see kind of where we're at. What I'm running into now, these main beams back here are 21 and a half, I believe, from the frame, both of them. But when I go up there and measure, there's like a 2-inch difference. So I thought maybe I cut something short or messed something up. But these are both 14 foot long, right on the dot. The only thing I can figure is because of this having a slight bend, it's no longer a square wagon and it's bent that way, which means that front corner that is longer is gonna be back more, allowing that beam to stick out further. Got 2 mounted here, 1 mounted up there. This one had 2 holes in it. And I mean, they all had 2 holes, but now that we put that kind of shim bet down there, our bottom, complete bottom hole isn't low enough, or high enough, I should say. So this one's fastened. I got to drill another hole up there in the metal and the wood. And I think what I'm gonna do, I thought this over. If I make these both the same, sticking out the back, this wagon's gonna be all sorts of crooked because of the frame being crooked. So what I need to do is, instead of going and taking my measurements by the frame, I can do that with one, but the second one, I can't do that with, because even though it may look right with the frame, it won't line up correctly. And these aren't gonna be the same, your boards will actually be crooked. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go across the corner to each one, and we're gonna square these with each other. And once we have it square, you know, obviously it may not match up perfectly with the wagon, but these will be square, and then our decking will go across and be square as well, and we shouldn't have any issue. Because basically, if we'd start the way it is and go all the way down through there, when we get to the end, we're gonna be off by like 2 inches, and we're gonna have to rip one at an angle, and it's gonna be really weird. So we don't wanna have to do that. So I think that's our best bet, is just square, create an actual square with it, and then we should be good. Squared both of them, and they look a lot better with each other. You can't even really tell that they're off. I think back here from each end from the frame, back here it's only off a 1/2 inch, and then up here it's off 1 inch. So it's really not anything that you're gonna pick up, which is a plus, because you could kind of see it before. So I have to remark these holes, drill them. That side's completely done. And then we can start mounting some decking. We're finally started on the decking. This looks really nice. Kind of rough cut. Obviously, we're gonna have some variances. This one's a little bit thicker. And you know, we can't have the chainsaw mill set up perfect every time, but we're definitely doing well. We got some variances in board widths, obviously, but we're trying to get the most out of the logs that we do have. So, and they're pretty sturdy. I may, like some of these thicker ones, I may add a 3rd screw, and I think we may do something along the edges. I don't know yet, but if I don't, these are gonna twist and carry on and go all over the place. We did space them out a 1/4 inch between, just to, you know, since they are probably a little bit green and stuff, that as far as, you know, contrasting and all that stuff, if you know, expanding, contracting. So it should hold our weight, hopefully. And it doesn't move at all. Now out here, it's gonna be a little bit more flimsy, but again, I think once we add a board running the length on each side, just to kind of trim it out and hold them the same, we may do one top and bottom. I think it'll really tie everything together and strengthen everything. But the biggest thing right now is get the rest of the decking on, and we're out of lumber, so this is basically what we got at this point. We got the 4 boards, but now we don't have to worry about cutting any bigger lumber at this point. So now we can just cruise with getting our decking done, and I'm really having a lot of fun with this. I'm having a lot of fun seeing this come together, and I can't wait till it's done. So I hope you guys are enjoying the series. I hope you guys are enjoying this build, because I know I'm having a lot of fun with it. But that's gonna do it for today's video, because we're out of lumber and we gotta cut some more. So we're running out of time. Hay season's coming quick, but we got planting season right around the corner too. So we got so much stuff to do. We're running out of time. Have a great day. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.